So dudes, you're playing Azami wrong, and I'm going to show you why. Azami's gadget, the concrete pancake, is a deployable, bulletproof piece of cover that deploys flat against whatever surface it strikes. The gadget itself is relatively simple, but the outplay potential you can create scales with a combination of game knowledge, quick wits, and strategic thinking. The first thing to take into consideration with Azami's Kiba barriers is that they are bulletproof. In a sense, she can shape and mold the map terrain around her, specifically to how she would like it to be. Destroying a pancake requires 3 melee hits. So it'll take about 2.5 seconds to do so. To keep the barricade from getting meleeed, it can be deployed onto pieces of map terrain that occupy a fair amount of distance from whatever attackers may try to destroy it. You want the Kiba to be as difficult to destroy as possible. A good example is this set of double windows on the top floor of Bank. Deploy the Kiba on the window against here, just facing outside the building, and repelling enemies can just melee it and destroy it. Deploy it on the lip of this windowsill on the building's interior instead. And now it's a lot more difficult to deal with. They'll have to leverage utility to destroy it instead. Azami's Kibas are quite big, and they don't just block line of sight. They can also block movement for a short period of time and give you the ability to stall. This isn't quite as useful towards the beginning of the round, but as the clock starts ticking, you can effectively disrupt an opponent's timing for the pinch they want to hit. In this example, Lion wants to push from main breach, and Nomad wants to push from sky, but when she encounters this Kiba setup, she decides to turn around. Another thing you can do with Azami's barricades is keep them pocketed for a retake situation. If the enemy never encounters your Kibas, they probably won't be expecting them springing up all around the map. Maybe 1 or 2 Kibas can be a pain. But if the bomb is planted here by Deer and we have Astro Control, what are the Master Bedroom attackers gonna do? That is a great question. Now I can defuse the bomb, and all my teammate has to do is hold Astro for me. If it sounds crazy, just remember that people who get paid money to play this game do the same thing. Side note, Azami has the ACS-12 shotgun. I'll talk a bit about that later. Spoiler alert, you can do site setup with it, which is kind of cool. Azami's Kibas can also be used in a reactionary manner to the destruction of reinforced hatches. She's a very good pick on Clubhouse Basement for this reason. When the hatch gets destroyed, you can throw a pocketed Kiba barrier, like so, and now the kitchen angle has been cut off. If you have a couple pocketed, you can cut off even more of the angle. If the attackers don't have utility to get rid of it, this is going to sit here for the rest of the round. Can't see a thing. The only thing keeping you from blocking the hatch drop outright is that the Kibas are notoriously weak to gravity. You should very well anticipate attackers using utility to destroy your stuff. In fact, if you're forcing attackers to use Zof charges, Kali lances, stuff like that, to destroy your Kibas, that's fine, because you're soaking their resources. They could use them on something else, like a deployable shield, like a bulletproof camera. Okay. Just be careful that it, deploys against something flat, because then it'll do that if you don't. A common spot to put a bulletproof camera is right here, nestled against this grate. They can't shoot it from the right side. Chances are, they might have blown through a ton of utility clearing these Kibas if they wanted to take piano quite aggressively. By the time they reach here, they won't have anything to get rid of that bulletproof camera. Attackers have a finite amount of resources, just like you. The difference is the attackers have to come to you. So if you can force attackers to use their resources, that's good. Especially when you consider that you have 5 of these things. Bring a Jaeger or a Wamai. Wamai would be really good for this. He can throw stuff on the ceiling. He can throw stuff in little nooks and crannies to keep your setup from getting destroyed. You can waste a ton of attacker utility if you combo Azami with a Jaeger or a Wamai. Azami is by every stretch of the imagination an S-tier character who can shine in 9 out of 10 situations, solidified by respectable capabilities as a gunfighter. The 9x19 VSN doesn't have much recoil at all, allowing you to get away with running a suppressor or an extended barrel if that's how you float. This gun has middle of the pack damage, middle of the pack rate of fire, 30 round mag, and it doesn't have a 1.5, but who cares? It's a laser beam. Aim for the head and you'll be okay. Now the ACS-12 gives Azami an interesting niche case usage with a 1.5. It functions a lot more like a fully automatic DMR than anything. You'll hardly ever need to reload, and perhaps more interestingly than anything else, it is a slug shotgun. If you don't hit the head, the body shots are respectable. That's going to take down pretty much anybody in 2 shots. At any range, too. It's basically a bolt gun. It's a bolt gun with a 1.5. It being a shotgun, the ACS-12 can obviously be used for sight setup. But maybe instead of using it on the sight for you to just kind of, you know, go off and do your own thing, maybe you can bring an ACS-12 up top to help with a roam extend. That way you don't need another shotgun to come up there with you. Here we can help with an upstairs extended hold. The hitbox for the Kibas is also quite narrow, and they can go through floorboards. That additional bit of flexibility with the shotgun might not be noticed that much in low elo, but more experienced players trying to get more creative with their defensive setups may appreciate an additional bit of wiggle room that you previously didn't have. Azami has a deagle. It can actually be nice for sight setup in a pinch. It's not very efficient, but it is better than nothing, and you can make head-level holes with it. Here, I can make a set of pixel angles to hold the oncoming push. When they swing to my right here, I can hold the main wall breach, and I can also hold if they swing from the other direction as well. Another way to make Kibas difficult to destroy is to use them as one-way angles. One-way angles work when your target is close to the piece of cover. Let's take a look at that column. In Siege, you look and shoot from your head. When I'm prone, I can shoot the column because I have vision on it. Now it's a little bit more obscured, and when I'm standing up, I can't see it at all. Far away, I can see it, but the closer I get, the further and further it goes out of my line of sight. Right now, if that column was a person, and I'm standing here, my legs are exposed, and I can't shoot back. You can force attackers to deal with this effect with a Kiba barrier. As I'm clearing this corner coming up yellow stairs, if I have a drone on this, I might try to like pre-fire it and get a lucky shot, but if the enemy is playing this correctly and swinging off of sound contact or something like that, not holding it too aggressively, then I'm going to have to swing wide, and then, well, that gunfight's just a real pain in the ass now, isn't it? It's even more of a pain in the ass if I do this. Now I really can't see anything, and my legs are exposed. Whoops. Azami's great at making these. And as you can see, because it's on this lamp, it's not flush with the column here, I can't melee it. So I gotta use a destructive piece of utility here. And if you want a strat that's a little bit more simple than everything else I've talked about, I'm sure you've seen this in your ranked games. Now I've got plenty of cover to hold clubhouse rafters. And I can even do this. Azami's one of my favorite characters in Rainbow Six Siege, and a true embodiment, in my opinion, of what the game is all about. Let me know which operators you'd like me to cover in the future. Thanks for watching this video. Deuces.